Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magic Book Club. Today, I'm here to read a novel which is called The Science of Breakable Things. So, I'm going to continue reading this novel from assignment 16. Let's start. Mom was in the kitchen when I went downstairs this morning, shifting flour into a mixing bowl. Her hair was washed and she was wearing her favorite sundress, the one with blue stars. Good morning, she said, smiling as if this were any other day, as if she did all the time. Her voice was almost normal, just slightly blurry. I felt like I was listening to a recording of her, like a faint static humming in the background. I ignored the static. Happy Thanksgiving, I chirped and practically skipped up next to her. If she was pretending to be happy, so would I. Here, she set a bag of apples and a pillar in front of me. I'm making the pie. I was about to ask about Dad's pie, but I swallowed the question. I didn't want to spoil the moment. The sight of her and the scent of freshly peeled apples made me want to leap and wrap her in the biggest hug, but we were pretending this was normal, so I picked up an apple and started peeling. The house rang with silence, but I didn't dare suggest music, so I listened to the song my pillar made. Your father is picking Grandma up from the airport, she said. She's looking forward to seeing us. With all that being happened, I haven't even thought about my grandmother. She comes to our house every Thanksgiving, and Mom usually worries about her arrival for days in advance. Ever since her own parents died, the visits from her mother-in-law had taken on extra importance, and she'd potter around the house cleaning and cooking, biting her nails as she went. This year, though, nothing worried her. Nothing seemed to affect her at all. We cooked in silence for a while. How's school? Mom asked finally. She wasn't the type of mother who asked how school was. I normally just told her, fine, I said. I wasn't the type of kid who said fine. How's the egg drop? Part of me couldn't believe she remembered. I thought back to our conversation in Dad's office, and it was almost like I'd been talking to a different person entirely. It's going great, my voice came out too loud. Did you try the cereal? Yeah, it was great, I said, without really knowing why I'd lied. Mom's smile didn't reach her face. Recipe for cran apple pie filling. Materials: 5 green apples, 1 cup cranberries, cup white sugar, 2 tablespoons butter, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, teaspoon nutmeg. Procedure: 1. Preheat oven to 375 degrees. 2. Peel apples while Mom measures. 3. Do not put on Bon Jovi. 4. Just mix. Mix and pretend everything is as it should be. Dad arrived with my grandmother, who started shedding layers as soon as she stepped into our overheated house. Off with the coat, the scarf, the leather gloves, and piled into Dad's arms. Oh, my big girl, she said, her accent thick, her hair dyed blacker than ever. Look at you growing into a woman. Out of her knockoff Louis Vuitton purse came gifts from Korea, dried squid and colorful erasers and pajamas with dancing cartoon dogs and cats. Thanks, Grandma, I said, accepting the gifts and acting as if that weren't the most awkward thing to hear. I always tell you, call me Halmony, she said as she hugged me, but she didn't really mean that by now. It was an old habit, our standard greeting. Never in my whole life have I called her Harmony. The first time I remembered her saying that, Dad laughed this strange off-center laugh and said, "Okay, Grandma," and that was it. She'd raised him on her own, and he said he'd have had enough Korean words and foods and costumes while growing up. He didn't want any more culture in his life, and he could go on forever pretending the Korean half of him didn't exist. And then my grandmother was talking about her recent trip to Korea and her nemesis neighbor and her 42 years old boyfriend, who she insists we call Uncle Gene. She splits her time between her family in Korea and Uncle Gene in California, and by the time she makes her way to us for Thanksgiving, she always has a treasure trove of tales. The way she was speaking reminded me of the way Mom used to be, even though they aren't related, bubbling up with laughter and stories, hands dancing in front of her. We got to eating quickly. That's the way of my family, and if grandmother felt uncomfortable with the white food, she didn't say anything. So I'm done reading till in the middle of assignment, sorry, I can't remember, assignment 16. I hope you're joining with me, and see you later. Bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.